Join me for a breathtaking sunset on Playa Rincon. And let's gently flow, listening to the signals the body is sending and letting go of everything else around. This is the perfect class not only for that time of the month, but also to simply find a deep release and perfect relaxation through hip opening postures and practicing a pranayama technique known as the 3-part breath, which helps us breathe more deeply and fully into the lungs. So if you're ready to release pain out of the mind and the body, let's meet on the mat. Let's get started in a child's pose, seated at the back of the mat. Hands are reaching forward. You can bring the knees a bit wider on the mat to give yourself more room to come forward with the chest toward the mat. Taking a deep inhale and exhale, taking note of how your body is feeling, noticing where any tension or pain may be located. Let's slowly roll up, sitting onto the heels, placing the hands behind the head, elbows forward, and rolling down gently to bring the forehead to the mat, and rolling back up, softly moving, exhaling as you roll down, and inhaling, rolling up. Your eyes can be closed, or you can open them as you come up. Now let's grab onto the heels, lifting the hips as we bring the crown of the head onto the mat, finding our rabbit pose, stretching out the back of the body, and releasing the hips down again, letting go of the heels, coming back to seated. Let's lift up onto our knees, making sure the knees are hip-width apart. Place your hands on your lower back, looking back, finding camel pose. You can bring your hands down to your heels or just stay here in this gentle variation. And then coming back slowly to neutral, releasing down, back into child's pose. Stretching out the back, the shoulders. Breathing in, exhaling it out. Let's come up to all fours. Wrists are under the shoulders, knees are under the hips. Let's do our cat-cow, looking up to the sky as we arch the back and rounding the back, looking between the knees, moving with your breath, going as slowly or as quickly as you'd like, breathing into any tension, any pain you may be feeling, and letting it release out. Now let's bring the knees a bit wider, sitting back to the heels for a wide-legged child's pose. Inhale as you lift up, bring the knees back to center, tuck the toes, and bring the belly and the chest down to the mat. Finding a gentle cobra, place your forehead on the mat if you would like. And then make your way over to your back, coming up to your knees first, rolling the back down to the mat. Knees are bent, feet are planted on the mat, about hip-width apart. Your lower back is pressing into the mat. Your hands can rest on your thighs or be relaxed at your sides. And just take a moment to breathe before we bring the knees into the chest, maybe rocking from side to side. And then let's make hip circles with the knees, rotating them out, around, and in. Doing as many as you'd like to. You can go the other direction as well. And then let's bring the right knee into the chest, extending the left leg out straight away from you. And then rocking that right knee out to the side and in, back out and in, bringing motion into that hip. And then plant the left foot on the mat. Grab your right ankle with your left hand. Your right hand is on your knee. And just rocking the leg once again, getting into the hip. And then place your ankle on top of your left knee. This is another variation of a pigeon pose. We're lying on our back. And you can hold here with the foot planted on the mat, or maybe grab behind the knee, applying a gentle pressure to bring your ankle closer into your chest. Respecting your body, respecting your limitations. Just wherever you are, notice the feeling in your right glute, in your right hip. Breathing into any tension you may be feeling, any tightness, any soreness. Keeping the lower back planted on the mat. Breathe in and exhale, grabbing onto the right foot with the right hand, bringing the right knee close as you can to the armpit. You can stay like this or extend that left leg out. You'll feel more of a stretch in your left hip flexor if you extend the leg out. And then bend the left knee, plant the foot on the mat, cross that right knee over the left, and allow the knees to fall to the left side as you open your right arm out to the right side, looking toward that right hand. Your eyes can be closed or open. And just feeling this deep relaxation coming over you. Noticing the sensations in your spine as you're twisting. Continuing to breathe, breathing into any tension, into any stiffness. Try to keep your shoulders connected to the mat and just breathe into the twist. Let's come back to center, knees come into the chest. Let's make hip circles with our knees going forward, out, around, and back in. Moving slowly and gently, bringing blood flow into the hip joint. And now let's bring the left knee into the chest, extending the right leg out. Maybe rocking that left knee from side to side, getting more circulation into the hip. And when you're ready, let's plant that right foot on the mat. Grab the left foot with the right hand on the left knee, and just rock that leg from side to side, going a bit deeper into the hip before we place that ankle on top of the right knee for our supine pigeon pose. So go ahead and place it on the knee, maybe staying here or grabbing behind the right knee, bringing the ankle in closer to the chest. And the purpose here is to find a nice deep stretch while also relaxing. Noticing how your body feels a bit different maybe on this side. Maybe you can go deeper, maybe not as deep. Just breathe into that left glute muscle, releasing everything out with your exhale, staying connected to the breath. let's release the right foot down to the mat. Grab the left foot with the left hand, bending that right knee as far as you can, close to your armpit, and maybe extending out the right leg so that you feel a stretch in your hip flexor. Or keep the foot planted, whatever feels best for you. Allowing yourself to feel any pain of the mind or the body, feeling it releasing out. And let's release the foot, bring the left knee on top of the right knee, and let the knees fall to the right side as you stretch your left arm out to the left side, looking toward that left hand. Breathing deep into the twist, allowing yourself to relax into this pose. Feeling any pain releasing out, allowing yourself to melt into the mat. Just focusing on the sensations in your body. Let's come back to center, bring the knees into the chest. Maybe flex and point the toes a little bit. Then let's grab onto the ankles or behind the knees. Bend the knees toward the armpits, flexing the feet, opening the legs into our happy baby pose. And you can stay in our happy baby, or if you'd like to, maybe lift your hips up, bring your feet up and over your head into plow pose. Your hands can be on the small of your back, keeping the knees bent or straight for a hamstring stretch. And then maybe if you'd like to go a little bit further, you can bend the knees, bringing them toward your ears for an ear squeezing pose, pressing your head into the mat to protect your spine, making sure your neck is long. Your hands can stay on the small of your back, or maybe grab your hands together and extend the elbows, reaching them away toward the back of the mat. This is an advanced pose, so maybe just stay in plow or in happy baby. When you're ready, if you're in plow pose, grab onto your ankles and slowly allow yourself to come back down to the mat, bringing it down one vertebrae at a time. Planting the feet onto the mat about hip width apart, pressing the low back into the mat before we squeeze the glutes and lift the hips up to the sky, finding our bridge pose. Hands are pressing into the mat. Keep pressing into your feet, squeezing the glutes, pointing your sit bones up to the sky. And exhale, release the back down to the mat. Let's find happy baby again, grabbing onto the feet or the ankles or just behind the knees. Allowing your hips to open up. If you'd like to, rocking from side to side, massaging the lower spine. And surrender to that feeling of blissful relaxation. And let's release the feet, bring the heels and the soles of the feet together, bending the knees and placing the feet on the mat into our supine butterfly pose, also known as Supta Baddha Konasana. Hands are relaxed at your sides, palms are open. You can stay here for as long as you'd like, or join me in Shavasana for full body relaxation. This is your moment to breathe and let go, not focusing on anything but this present moment. Let's bring some movement back into the body by wiggling the fingers and the toes, and then stretching to opposite sides of the mat, making your body as long as possible, and then bending your knees, planting the feet, rolling over to one side, and coming up to seated. You can come into hero's pose or a cross-legged position. Let's bring the right hand on top of the heart and the left hand on the belly. We're going to practice our 3-part breath, where we learn to really breathe fully into the lungs. Let's just breathe into the belly first. Inhaling, feeling the belly move up and down. Exhaling it all out. Next, let's breathe into the belly, then the ribs, and exhale, ribs, and then the belly. Breathing like this a few times. Belly, ribs, exhale, ribs, and belly. Now let's breathe into the belly, then the ribs, and then the chest, fully filling the lungs, and exhale out of the chest, the ribs, and the belly. Continuing to breathe like this, filling up the belly, then the ribs, then the chest, exhaling out of the chest, the ribs, and the belly. Focusing on your breath, noticing how it feels to breathe fully into your lungs. And notice how your body begins to relax even more as we connect to this deep breath. Now let's return to our normal breath, placing your hands in your lap, or maybe palms open on your knees. Thanking yourself for this practice, for this time that you set apart to do something wonderful for your body. Let's bring the hands to the heart, breathing into this peaceful, healing love that surrounds us. Thank you so much for joining me for this sunset practice, and I hope to see you again soon. Namaste. Thank you again for watching this video, for practicing with me. And if you like this video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel.